welcome to the last part of the video, Modeling Best Practices, and this video is part of the series BPMN in Action. My name is Nele Uhlemann and I'm a developer advocate here at Camunda. And yeah, in the first two videos we talked about the modeling rules, so everything that we could do on level of the BPMN diagram to use best practices. We talked about different scopes in BPMN and what happens if you mix different scopes. And today we want to talk about the organization and how organizations and companies can help to create best practices. And if we talk about organizations, the overall goal is to create uniform models across the organization. Because if we have uniform models, that basically means they are easier to read for everyone else because they follow the same pattern, the same rules, which makes it easier for people. And yeah, in an organization, we can look into three things. We can again look into the modeling scope. So we should be clear, do we create process models for documentation of human workflows or for automated workflows? We should create resources in an organization. So we should have some guidelines, tools, and also think about the education that comes with it. So how can we educate a number of people? And we should also think about different roles when it comes to modeling processes. So that could mean we have different responsibilities. Also, that could mean we have maybe someone responsible maintaining guidelines, tools, and also processes around creating BPMN diagrams. If we look in the modeling scope and what does it mean to define the modeling scope, the most important question here is what is the goal of modeling, or what is the goal of modeling BPMN processes? So what is the purpose why we are modeling here? Do we model because we want to automate, or are we modeling because we want to have a strategic overview? Do we want to give detailed instruction of human workflow? And so on and so forth. And also that comes, of course, with the question, who is the end user of those diagrams? Is it a process engine that is then used for automating those processes? Or is the end user maybe management who needs the quick overview? And having those goals in mind, really helps us to understand in which scope we model. And sometimes in an organization, of course, we can have multiple scopes. So sometimes we do all three, sometimes we just do one. But we should keep in mind that different scopes might require different methods and also tools and responsibilities. But once we have the goal, we can answer the other questions easier for an organization. So, for example, if we have the goal and then we look into the resources, it's easier to define guidelines because we know already what the purpose of the modeling is. For example, if we create strategic process models, we might want to reduce the symbol set of BPMN. We might want to write a guideline that says you should just use tasks, XOR gateways, and parallel gateways to keep it very simple. If we talk about the guidelines, we should incorporate things from the first part of this video, best practices. We should look into the modeling rules that we can apply. That, for example, can include things like, do we want to model implicitly or explicitly? How do we label things? Are we modeling in a raster layout? It could also give you some ideas about different situation patterns that you could apply while modeling. Also, in a guideline, it's always nice to include how to model, but also how not to model. Like you should also include the anti-pattern, because the anti-pattern really outlines the benefit for people why they should apply the best practice. Another resource, of course, are the tools we are talking about. So, for example, if we have a tool for designing processes, we can look within the tool if we can reduce symbols here. So is it possible to adjust our modeling tools to our need? If we just want to model strategic process models, maybe we can, within the tool, reduce the symbol palette. So we just show certain symbols. That makes it then already easier for the people to apply guidelines, basically. We should also think about the access and the sharing of process models. So if we have tools, where is the process model living in the end? And what are the processes around the process model creation? So if I create a process model, is it then the BPMN file? Do I export a PNG out of it? Do I want to include it into a company wiki or an organization wiki? Do I want to automate it? Does it need to go through the development afterwards? Do I test it? Things like that should be clear. And of course, we should also think about the education, and that means basically we need to provide access to resources and time for people to learn about BPMN. Also, we should consider that there are different roles. So that means sometimes we have people who need to create those process models. They need to be very good in modeling and understand BPMN on a complex level. And sometimes we have people that just need to be able to read those process diagrams. They might need less education about BPMN because the goal here is just that they understand what's going on the canvas. And lastly, and very important, is to talk about responsibilities. So we need a point where all the threads come together and a part that maintain, for example, our guidelines, our tools, and also a point where people, a point of contact where people could reach out if they have problems by modeling, maybe people who could review process models, and that can be handled quite differently in organizations. It could be, for example, a cross-team organization where multiple people from different teams are responsible to define those things, like a center of excellence for process modeling or for process automation. But sometimes also there might be teams that are leading this. So maybe the team who started with process modeling. I think it really depends where your organization is at and how also this whole topic about processes and managing processes is implemented. If it's something that is already on a strategic level visible, or if it's something that just like single departments are doing. I think I've seen multiple things, and it all works. I think just important is to have this point of responsibilities and or the point where people could also reach out. Cool. This brings me already to the end of this series. I hope you learned why best practices are useful. I hope you learned how you can apply them on the model itself. I hope you saw the different scopes that exist, and also how organizations can, at least support those best practices. And in the end, I hope this helps to create better BPMN process models in the world. So if you have further comments or questions, you can leave them here, or you can reach out to us in the forum. And I hope to see you around. Bye.